Hi YouTube friends. So today we're in the planting studio. As you can see behind me, lights, pots, it's messy, lots of dirt. So I'm going to start out with coconut coir today, and I'm going to build my base for what I do for seed starting. So coconut coir, potting soil, and some vermiculite is what I put in my seed starting mix, and I'll show you that as I go. But we're in zone 7A, 7B, somewhere in there. We're in not really eastern Washington, we're more in central Washington state, but what we would consider the high desert area. Even though our elevation's pretty low, our temperatures are kind of from extreme winter to it likes to stay around 100 in the summer. It's very hot here in the summer. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna show you my potting mix, and then we're gonna get some seeds started. We need to do onions, celery, and parsley this week to be on track for planting. So I'm gonna walk you through that with me. I like to use 3 of these bricks of coconut coir in one, like a construction, that's like a construction, like a construction size tote that you could pick up from like Home Depot. Costco has them, Lowe's, whatever hardware store. They're the black ones with the yellow lids. So that's what I use to mix my soil in as I go. So I'm gonna open up 3 of these bricks and put them in the bottom, and I'm gonna add, I like to mix warm water with it just because if my potting soil's been outside and it's cold, and I'm not sticking my arm in cold soil to mix it, because it's quite a bit. I have to stick my whole arm in there to mix it. And these seem to puff up a little faster with warm water versus cold. Okay, we're gonna let that sit and soak up that water. I'm guessing it might take another half of a bucket to get that where I want it. You can see they're getting taller, and I'll flip them over just to give them a little boost. Makes it just go a little bit faster. You can see it's steaming. The water was pretty hot. You can't help, buddy. No. Okay, you can see that that's a nice moist mix of soil, and it's loose and airy because you don't want your roots to struggle starting from the seeds. So by having this nice loose mixture with the coconut coir and the vermiculite added to the potting soil, your roots will just be able to slide right through there and not get all balled up. Using straight potting soil, that's what happens, is it's just too tough for the roots to get soil. So you want something loose. So I bought this great cart a few years back on Amazon, and it has wheels, it rolls. I'll give you a little peek, see there. I have all my different pots on it for planting, my different, some vermiculite because that goes on the top, and I'll just work right from this to do my planting. And I can move it around my shop and to wherever I need it. So this has been super handy. I love this thing. So good investment there. So for my onions and celery, I'm gonna use, I think I'm just gonna use these little individual planters, and I'll probably do 2 seeds in each one. That'll give them a little bit of room to grow, so I don't have to worry about trying to transplant. I can just give my onions a haircut when they get to be about 6 inches long, cut them down to like 4. I'll be able to do that like 4 times before I put them in the ground, and it'll give them a really good start. I like to do onion seeds rather than the onion starts that you get, the little bulbs, just because if you start from seed, they grow for size. If you're starting from the bulb, they grow to go to seed because it's their 2nd year. So it does make a difference on the size of your onions, and I've had really good luck from seed, and they're super easy to get started. And they take a long time, as far as they're the first thing that I plant, but they do super well, and I have amazing onions. So I'm gonna get started with those. If you guys are not familiar, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I use seedtime.com to plan my garden. It gives me a calendar of when I need to plant, when I need to cultivate, when I need to sow indoors, when I need to plant outside, all of the stuff. It gives me a calendar. All I do is add my plants into it. It gives me a whole calendar for the year of when I need to do each task, and it really is helpful to keep me on track, especially with a really big garden. So that is really helpful. But it also, they have a newer feature the last 2 years, I believe, where you can actually do a garden layout. So I put in my layout, and for what I want, my areas, it'll tell me how many plants I need in that area to fill it. So I need about 275 onions. I plant 2 seeds. These are trays of 72. I plant 2 seeds in each one. So that, I'm gonna call that good. So 2 trays, and I'm gonna divide that over 3 different kinds of onions because I have 3 that I like. I have the Walla Walla Sweets, Patterson, and I think it's Alyssa Craig is the other one. Yep, Alyssa Craig. So those are the 3 types of onions that I'm planting that I've had good luck with last year. I always have good luck with Walla Wallas, but they don't tend to store really well. But seeing that we have a walk-in cooler and I can bag them up and put them in the walk-in cooler, they do pretty well. So that's my 3 kinds, and I'm gonna get these 2 trays planted, 2 seeds in every hole, and then I'll show you the next step. So I get these different colored plant markers on Amazon. I really like these. I like to have the color options. It's kind of nice when you're planting your stuff. So these are great as long as you're using a pen that is a actual garden pen, a garden marker that's weatherproof. It's not a Sharpie, it's different. So just so you know that, but I love these garden tags. They're inexpensive. Sometimes I'll recycle them if I'm planting the same thing. So if they're in decent shape, I'll hold on to them and use them for 2 years. But for the most part, they get tossed, unfortunately, but they hold up better than anything else I've found so far. So I'm putting vermiculite on the top of the seeds rather than soil. It kind of prohibits the algae growing from watering. Gives them just enough coverage, but it's not too heavy. I do buy the vermiculite on Amazon as well. It's actually it's cheaper if you get the pool vermiculite. So it comes in a big, like, it might, I don't think it's a 25-pound bag, but it's huge. It's like this tall. Nice big bag, but it's really light. So I don't know what the poundage is on it. It might be 4 cubic feet or something like that. So then we're gonna spray these down with water. This is a handy sprayer for doing seeds because it's not like a hose where it's going to blast your seeds, but it's going to give them a good spray. So we're gonna wet these down pretty good. The soil was nice and wet when we started because of the coconut coir being soaked pretty heavily. If your soil is not very wet, then I take the pots and soak them in a tote of water so they're nice and so the whole dirt is nice and wet. And then when you cover them with your little tents, you can use saran wrap, you can use the ones that you buy that go on the trays, whatever it is that you want to use, because saran wrap's easy too if that's all you have. Better to go with what you have. Keep the moisture locked in here while they're starting, and then uncover them after they start growing. So my dirt wasn't super wet because of the way I did it with the coconut coir being wet. So I'm giving him a really good soak on the top half. But I really like this sprayer because it puts out just enough mist to not move around your seeds when you're trying to get them started. You don't want to move them around too much. You don't want to bury them. You don't want them ending up in a different pot. And with these onions, if you keep them kind of separated and in this size pot, by the time you go to plant them, you can pull them apart really easily. It doesn't damage them at all. Okay, I'm going to cover those with this lid. And these are 10-20 trays, and I have a lot to plant, so I use these and I reuse them year after year. And so cost-wise, it's been a pretty good investment because I just pick up a few more each year and reuse them. And these guys, like these tops, I just keep a stack of them, and I think I've had the same stack of them for probably 5 years. So I just buy a few things here or there and then invest in my growing room to get everything started for my garden. But these, keep this lid on there until they sprout up, and then you can take that lid off and have them open to the lights. I put them under my lights, which I just use shop lights, not plant lights. I just use shop lights on my shelves, and I'll give you a view of that. And take them out. If this isn't moist, if there's not moisture on here, you can spray them again, but you shouldn't need to really heavily water at all until everything's coming up. A little harder with these ones that aren't pelleted to get the right amount, especially when I don't have my glasses on. So we're just doing the best we can. Second set of onions covered and ready for the shelf. And these guys, these seeds are from 23 from Johnny's, so they're only 81% germination rate, so maybe we'll get less germination and have the correct amount. It'll be fine. This one, Giant of Italy, you're just gonna do one little 6-pack here. And these will all get separated and transplanted, up potted into a bigger pot before they go to the garden anyway. More than likely, just because I won't get to them in the garden and they'll be big enough. I'd rather hold on to them in the greenhouse and get them going and have them have a good start. And here's the last one. This is a curled, extra triple curled parsley. And I have a feeling, yeah, these are from 21, so they may not be very good at germination, but we'll get some. So I'm just going to plan on planting a little heavy. So if you have old seeds and you hold on to them, just go and plant heavy in case you don't get very good germination, because each year the germination will go down and you'll get less and less. But I don't throw them away. I go ahead and see what I can get out of them and just plant extra and see how it goes. They won't be, once in a while I'll get something that'll totally not grow and nothing will come up, but it's not all that often. I'll usually get something. Okay, and then I vermiculate on those. Like I said, this keeps down your algae from growing on the top as well, which will help with gnats and things like that. It won't be 100% for gnats. Whenever you're planting things, you're going to get gnats in the soil when you're trying to get them going. If you get too many gnats, they'll start eating the roots. So you want to try to keep that under control, and this does help. Okay, and we'll water that when we water the rest of the tray. So the rest of the tray, I'm going to do celery on. And I think I have just one kind of celery to plant. Yeah, I have pretty good luck with the Utah celery. This one's Survival Seeds. I've ordered from them once. I don't have an opinion either way because I've only ordered from them once. So we're going to see how many is in here, see if we can fill the rest of this up. And then we'll get it watered and put on the shelf so they can germinate. Celery seeds are so tiny. This is why I always have too much celery in the garden, because you just have to sprinkle them because they're so tiny. And then I just can't stand thinning them out and throwing them away, so I transplant them into bigger pots. So I only needed 72 celery plants, so I'm going to be way over. Maybe I'll find another place for celery. I can't stand throwing the plants away. It like crushes my soul. And these, because these seeds are so little, they don't need a very heavy cover of the vermiculite. And to cover. And here they are under the lights. This is my setup of shelves. We have several shelves here, but here they are, 2 trays of onions and 1 tray of celery and parsley, ready to go. I'm just going to keep my eyes on them each day, see if they need water, see if they start sprouting. It could be a couple weeks.